With the Designer series, there are similar installation methods to the Artisan, but there are a few that are very different in techniques. We are going to be covering those through this installation process. The first thing is that we use a 4x4 sleeve over a 4x4 pressure treated post. The basis for all railings are the posts of the railings. You must ensure when setting up that the posts are plumb and true, and that your spaces are what you want them to be between posts. When attaching the post to the framing of the deck, make sure you follow all local guidelines for attachment as well as Trex recommendations for attachments. Once you have your posts set where you want them to be, you then take the 4x4 sleeve and apply it over the 4x4 post. Once you have that on, you then apply your post skirt. This is very important because a lot of times installers will put the sleeve on and then start installing their railings. The mistake there is you cannot get the post skirt on once the railing brackets are on. So just as a rule of thumb, always the post skirt right after the post sleeve. Once you have gotten your post skirt on, you then take your Trex Express tool and apply the railing support brackets to preset holes in the Trex Express tool. Once you have those set into the tool, you then take the tool and apply it against the 4x4 post sleeve sitting on top of the post skirt. This then sets your bracket at a predetermined height that is universally allowed with local regulations, as far as your railings being 36 inches above the deck surface. Once you have the Trex Express tool applied to the 4x4 sleeve, you then screw your railing support brackets to the 4x4 sleeve. The 4x4 sleeve is not what is supporting this railing support bracket. These screws are going through the sleeve and into the 4x4 pressure treated post. This gives us the maximum amount of support for our railings that we're looking for to make them a strong, sturdy product that'll last the test of time. The next step is now to start cutting your railings to length. You can do this with a tape measure. You just check your measurements and then bring the railing down to your miter box. You cut it to length, and then your balusters are manufactured at a preset length, so you do not have to worry about cutting your balusters. You then lay your both top and bottom rail on the ground, and with your Trex Express tool, which has a preset spacing for the balusters, you then lay those up against the railings using the Trex Express tool to set the spacing. One at a minimum, but if you can have two Trex Express tools, that can also help expedite the process. You then, what the Trex recommendation is to shoot from the bottom of the railing up into the baluster. This is an acceptable method, but what a lot of our installers are finding now for a sturdier installation is to actually pre-drill and screw up into the bottom of the baluster. Once you have the bottom set, you then take your Trex Express tool, if you have one, and slide it up the balusters to the top, making sure that your top rail is sitting on all of the balusters evenly and properly. And then you would take your trim gun, use an 1.25 inch minimum trim nail to shoot from the outside of your top railing into the baluster to just hold it in place to ensure that your Trex railing is going to be sturdy and compliant with your local regulations and Trex regulations. Then probably you take two people, one on one side, one on the other. One of the main differences in the installation of the Designer railing compared to the Artisan railing is that the bottom railing is sitting on top of the railing support bracket. So then the two people take it, move it in between the two posts and slide it down. This time we are not leaving a space like the Artisan railing. We are making it tight to make it as seamless as possible. So it might take a little bit of maneuvering by the installers to sit it down tight onto the railing supports and make sure the railing supports are touching the bottom of the railing on the bottom railing and the top railing. As far as securing the railing to the brackets, the only requirement is to screw upward from the railing support bracket on the top railing support brackets into the top of the railing. The bottom railing then would sit on top of the railing support, but has no ability to move from the railing support. So it's supported, but not screwed in as an attachment. Some of our installers do like to, in fact, on the bottom railing though, to take a screw and sink it from the top of the bottom railing portion into that bracket. Or they can take a trim nail and shoot it into the post just to secure that bottom railing, just that little bit more to make it as sturdy of an installation as possible. The designer rail system, just like the Artisan, requires that we cut balusters and install them 18 inches on center underneath the bottom railing. So all you do is you measure from the bottom of the railing to the top of the deck. You cut your balusters to length and then install them underneath the railing. On this application, we then take a screw or a trim nail, whatever the installer prefers, and shoot or screw that attachment into that baluster just so it doesn't move or get kicked out. And as you alluded to earlier, it's because people like to have their families on the deck, enjoy dinner, and with kids sometimes like to crawl and climb on the railings, and to ensure the lifetime of the railing, to make sure they don't sag in the middle, it's good to put the block in 18 inches on center. Final step, it's even simpler than the Artisan rail cap, where it's just a one-piece cap. You can put it on. You do not have to, for any reason, attach it, but what some of our installers, based on conversations with our homeowners, will sometimes take a trim nail with the trim gun and shoot it in, one on each side, just to attach it. Some homeowners prefer that it's detachable. We leave that up to the homeowner's preference.